Presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Governor, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Good to be here.
As a McCain supporter, I'm going to guess you're going to tell me McCain won the debate tonight.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. I actually saw a focus group on one of the major networks where they asked a group of undecided voters what did they think. 3-1, they came out saying they were going to vote for John McCain following this relative to Barack Obama. I think it was John McCain's strongest night since the Saddleback forum that was held early on. It was a great night for John McCain.
One has to wonder, though, and of course the big phrase that keeps getting used is game changer, and McCain needs a lot of game changers to reverse the trends in the polls. And was there anything tonight that will convince enough people to change what they were going to do to make a difference in this campaign?
Yeah, if you take that focus group and you take my reaction and that of a number of people I've been listening to, what happens tonight is that the momentum shifts. It goes from being all Obama to being all John McCain. And you're going to see over the coming days a slow but sure increase in John McCain standing, narrowing of the polls. They're going to be writing about John McCain, comeback kid. Look, I know, I've been there, all right? I was ahead of him in the primary for a while, and he was able to turn things around. And tonight, look, he went after John McCain on taxes and pointed out that when you raise taxes on American employers, you hurt people, you kill jobs. That was key. That Joe the Plumber thing was hilarious.
Joe the Plumber was actually the winner of tonight's debate.
Yeah, he was the winner, yeah, exactly right.
But, you know, they kept saying, and they keep repeating that Barack Obama's going to raise your taxes. He continued to say, which is the truth, I will raise taxes, or I will lower taxes on 95% of American families. That includes small businesses, tax breaks for small businesses. John McCain's going to tax people's health care plans in their work environment. That's going to get 20 million people off the rolls. These are the things that keep coming up in these debates. And you know, Barack Obama's not going to raise taxes for 95% of Americans.
Yeah, and what John McCain did tonight by bringing out that Joe the Plumber thing was pointing out that when Barack Obama wants to spread money around, and he wants to take money away from Joe the Plumber and his small business and send a check to people, that's going to hurt the employers of this country. That's going to make it harder for small business people to start businesses and to hire people. And you know what? The American people would far rather have a job from Joe the Plumber or anybody else in this country than they would getting a check from Barack Obama, a one-time check having spread money around. And that's what I thought was so effective by John McCain tonight, is that he said when you raise taxes on anyone here in America, you're going to be killing jobs. And jobs, that's number one for America.
One of the things that John McCain said that was not true, though, he said that there would be a fine that Joe the Plumber would have to pay if there was no health care for his employees. That's not true. If you're a starting business, you're not going to have to pay that fine. That's not going to be true. And in fact, you get all kinds of tax breaks and tax incentives as a new and starting business. That's the point that Barack Obama is making about what happened to Joe, the star of tonight's debate, Joe the Plumber.
Well, the taxes on Joe the Plumber were income taxes. Then they got into health care, and we all got, you know, I like my own plan on health care the best, but no one's picked that one up yet. But Barack Obama's plan of finding employers, I think, is a wrong way to go. I think we have a much better way of getting people insured without finding people that are not providing insurance.
But isn't John McCain going to lose people off the health care plan when he starts taxing people's health care plans? People are going to lose health care.
No, he's saying you got 47 million people that don't have health insurance. John McCain is going to give to each family a $5,000 tax credit. That's like a check to buy health insurance. That means those people will buy plans they can afford from anywhere in the country. It gets more people insured.
Hey, Senator Governor Romney, good to see you. How are you? Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This was by far Senator McCain's best appearance here. I think one of the best lines was inadvertent. Senator Government, whoops, you know. But he made the point over and over again that he's going to raise your taxes. He really shattered this illusion that Barack Obama, that he's going to cut taxes for 95% of people for the very points you're making out here. And also, you know, the record versus the rhetoric. Obama, when given an opportunity to cut taxes, he raised them 94 times. When given an opportunity last year, twice he raised it for people, or voted to raise it for people making $42,000 a year. This was an effective night. I thought Obama was flustered on numerous occasions tonight.
Well, I thought John McCain smoked Obama out. I think Barack Obama has tried to position himself as being in the mainstream of the Democratic Party and of the American people. And tonight, what John McCain did was force Barack Obama to admit, well, even though the people in Washington, D.C. want vouchers, and the head of the school district wants vouchers, that Barack Obama's not going to give them to him because the teachers union doesn't want it.
Yeah.
And in Columbia, even though we're spending $1 $1 billion paying tariffs there, and they spend nothing bringing things here. Barack Obama's not going to have free trade with Colombia because his special interest group, the unions, don't want that to happen. And on campaign finance, even though Barack Obama promised that he would would stay using public financing, well, he decided not to because that wasn't convenient. John McCain pointed out time and time again, look at something like abortion, late-term abortion, partial birth abortion. Barack Obama was on his heels the whole night.
I agree with you.
Explaining, and in politics, as they say, if you're explaining, you're losing. And Barack Obama was trying to explain some very extreme positions.
He was flustered, on his heels, on defense the entire time, and was very amazing to me, he just resorts back to the same old talking points. We've had 3 debates now. He regurgitates the same lines. He never advanced the ball at all. Seemed like he was in a prevent defense mode. And I'm not sure that helps him right now, especially as John Zogby points out, he cannot close the deal with the American people. And I don't think he was able to advance that, as you point out in that focus group. I saw the same one tonight.
Yeah, well, I thought the real stopper on Barack Obama's panned rhetoric was about George Bush. When Barack Obama was saying, Bush, McCain, he said, hey, look, you're not running against George Bush. It's like that old line, he's a friend of mine, and you're not running against George Bush. You should have done that 4 years ago if you want to run against George Bush.
That was a good line.
And Barack Obama at that point stopped talking about Bush, McCain. Right. John McCain is his own man. Like him or hate him, he's his own man. You know where he stands. He looked at the American people tonight and said he's not going to raise their taxes. He's going to fight to create more jobs. He's going to get people health care. He's going to have free trade to open more jobs for Americans. Barack Obama was having to retreat on issue after issue. Even the personal associations, John McCain did bring that up.
He set the table, though. Joe Plummer was all about what Senator McCain brought to the table. When he kept talking about, spread the wealth, he had said that, and Biden said it's your patriotic duty to pay more in taxes. But I think more importantly, he shattered this illusion that 95% of you aren't going to see your taxes go up. But meanwhile, he's going to raise taxes on corporations, the tax rates, capital gains tax, windfall profits tax. You're a businessman first. Corporations don't pay taxes, do they? They pass it on to the consumer.
They certainly don't. I think the American people heard tonight what would happen if the Gang of Three were to run America. If the Gang of Three, Pelosi, Reid, and Barack Obama run America, you're going to see a very different America.
You're going
to see America like Europe, where they're going to say, you know what, you're making too much money. We need to take it away from you. You're an employer. We're taking money away from you. We're going to give it to other more deserving people.
Spread the wealth.
And we're going to decide who those deserving people are. We're not going to give your kids vouchers because our special interest group, the teachers union, doesn't want that. We're not going to have free trade with Colombia, even though it's our key ally in South America. I think the Gang of Three is in real trouble.
All right. Good to see you, Governor Romney. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And coming up, we have more announcements.